All right, call to order the Monday, September 17th meeting of the Arlington Redevelopment Board, recorded by ACMi. Apologize, I'm losing my voice a little bit tonight, but we'll get through it. First on the agenda this evening is EDR special permit, public hearing for the Adventure Pub. And I think we have the proponents here, so I'll ask you to come on up, have a seat, introduce yourselves one by one for the record, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Athena Peters. I am the president of Parthenon Entertainment, which is doing business as Adventure Pub.
My name is Jason Smith. I'm the head chef for Adventure Pub, also known as Parthenon Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. My name is Mehmet Sahin. I'm owner of Falcon Graphics, Arlington.
Okay. Great. So you're here for a special permit this evening. It's docket number 3161. Tell us about what you're proposing here and what you're asking from the board.
Sure. So what Adventure Pub is a quick concept of it. So we're basically a family-friendly, full-service restaurant and bar with the added twist of having board games that you play at your table while you're eating and drinking and having a good time. It's a small table fee to have the games. We're not selling the games. It's like while you're in there and you're playing them kind of rental, and then once you're done, it goes back on our shelf and you can play another game or you can move on about your day or however. And then basically what we do is we combine an evening's entertainment with the need for food to create a one-stop shop evening built around the idea of bringing friends and family together across generations to form stronger bonds and connection and communication. Additionally, so a lot of the special permit is partially that was the need for the concept to have board games in the restaurant space. And then the other part of it is that occasionally we would want to host special events. And our special events are of the type of like the occasional mystery dinner style event. So we're not talking a stage, we're not talking special lighting, we're not talking about any kind of amplified 5+ person bands. This is more of a you come in, you play pretty much it's a game, but without a large board in front of you. For example, we just ran a game called Aces and Operatives at the Carrie Nation Cocktail Club, in which everybody comes in and they are assigned a special agent character for the night. And they are playing a social deduction game to figure out who might be an operative amongst them. And they're doing this just mainly by talking with each other, playing card games with each other, and then they vote on whether or not they're successful at their missions, their secret missions that they go about. So it's all, very light, not heavy on special effects, heavy scenery or anything like you might typically think of theatrical events. Then we would also be looking at hosting things like corporate events, so like team building exercises focused around games, whether they be board games or tabletop games that we would lead with, professional game masters, and then things like, your standard special events at restaurants, parties, anniversaries, that kind of thing. And we'd be utilizing some of the already created space that was created by the last restaurant that was in there and remodeled. We have basically 3 dining spaces that we can use for different size groups as needed. So that is mainly what the special permit requirements are. So I was talking about similar concepts to our game space. So this isn't a new concept. We're kind of borrowing the idea from several successful board game restaurants that are in the Seattle and Austin areas, as well as throughout the country elsewhere, but that's where they've really taken off and have a very similar demographic to this area. And then, so our renovation plans are pretty light. We're looking at changing out some paint and decor, but our floor plan actually remains, the floor plan which we've submitted to you remains the same as what is currently there and was done by Duet Bistro, I guess, a couple years ago. We don't plan on moving any walls. All of our equipment, most of the kitchen equipment remains. We just need to bring in a new cooktop, but put it in the exact same place it was before. So there's no remodeling changes. And then our sign plans also, the same layout. We also have the same capacity expectations as the previous restaurant as well. So that floor plan right now is currently set to serve 118 seated guests. But we don't plan on trying to change the layout so that we can put more people in there. And then for our sign plans, once again, it's copying onto what has already been in that space previously. We'd actually reduce down to just one vinyl window decal in the center of the cafe windows. And then utilizing that same pole banner vinyl sign setup that's outside the restaurant right now to just put our own sign up in that space as well. All the lighting, et cetera, that's there currently would remain the same, so we don't have plans on adding any exterior lighting other than what's there. So that's the plan.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you're really just moving into an existing space. You're not doing any renovation.
Correct.
Other than making it kind of your own.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Makes things a little bit easier on our end. I think it's a cool concept. I like the idea. When it comes to the special events,
Mhm.
how often do you plan to have those?
We'd be looking at like maybe once a month. It's possible we might have a couple of months, but not real heavy, because we
Okay.
want to make sure that people are still able to come in and do the regular game nights, and really it's about the board games, but every now and then,
Okay.
maybe do
Are they
something
ticketed
special.
events, or is it more like a trivia night at?
It would be, there might be a mix, like definitely the ones that are the aces and operatives kind of thing, that would be a ticketed event.
Mhm.
And that would probably be a ticketed event specifically in our larger private dining space. So it's in that bar area. There's
Okay.
this curtained space that sits about 30 diners. So we'd be looking at that, and then it would be like a ticket event to be seated in this area, and you're
Okay.
basically having a special
So that
menu
would
and,
more or
and
less be
everything
limited
set
to
up.
that 32
Yeah,
seat area. You're not
exactly.
gonna increase or decrease the seating
Right.
there based on those events. Okay.
Because we don't want to take away, we want to make sure that that main restaurant space is constantly the same kind of business. So any day that you come in, if you're just wanting to sit down and play a board game like you did the night before, you can still do that, and there's still room for that.
Great.
So when we have special events, we're not taking away from that business and experience.
Okay, good. Andy?
I've read it thoroughly, and I don't really have any questions about it. It sounds great.
Right.
Ken?
On your special events,
Mhm.
do you guys plan to use any props or scenery or something like that?
Every now and then we might have a prop, sometimes we have a couple of little small chests that might have a little lock on them or something, a little padlock with numbers on it that you would have to solve. But really it's, when we're talking about props, we're talking about things that are about hand size or might sit on the table, but not entire scenery flats or anything like that, like a typical theater production one.
So if you were to separate some of these functions, so you have 3 dining rooms right now,
Mhm.
and you want to separate a private function, you wouldn't bring any drapes or anything else to close that off or something like that?
No, we'd use the curtains that are there currently.
You have existing curtains there right now?
There are existing curtains there now. Yes.
Okay. And that's the only question I have for the
Okay.
everything else, but the only thing I have a question on is the signage.
Mm-hmm.
That blade sign is a vinyl sign, right? That's gonna be placed exactly the same
Yes.
size in that corner,
Yeah,
right?
they has a few bars,
Yep.
inside bars, you can use same bars, and then you're gonna make a new banner, double side, with the pull pockets, just slide in and unscrew
Okay.
a few places.
Is that blade sign right now currently lit?
No?
No,
No, I don't believe it has a separate light. There's
It's
this
spotlight
light.
up there
Yeah, there's this spotlight that kind of
Really
goes
high,
over the
yeah.
door.
for building.
It's not illuminated, within the sign.
No, it's not in. Yeah.
So it's a spotlight that's on the building that will shine onto the,
That shines down on that
Shine down,
corner in general.
But the sign itself, there's no light function inside that.
okay, and you're reducing the signage on the glassing, on the glass, there's only one in the center, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Very favorable for this project, I think it's a good concept. I have no other questions.
David?
So when you're running the special events in the curtained area,
Yeah.
would the rest of the space be operating as usual?
Yes.
At the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And the vinyl sign on the brackets, is that intended to be exactly the same size as the existing sign out
Because
there?
there is bar over there, it can't move, and
Yeah.
just we're gonna use exactly the same spot, same dimensions.
I didn't get a chance to go over and look at the block, but I'm not sure whether there are any bike racks on that block in.
There is
in
not a
Capitol Square.
rack that I can recall seeing, and I don't see any in the
Right.
pictures. And I've taken a lot of pictures recently, so I don't believe there are. No.
Not on that block. I don't think so.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any possibility of working with the town to get some bike racks installed at that location.
We
'Cause
wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean, I think that would be a good thing, and
Yeah.
I suspect it would, that some of your clientele would like to bike
Yeah.
to the space. And there is other bike parking in Capitol Square, but it's nice to have it right in front of the place that you're going to,
Mhm.
especially since this is quite a large space.
Mhm.
So, and I believe that at least at some point, Bistro Duet had some outdoor seating there, so it seems like there is potentially sidewalk width for installing some bike parking.
Okay.
Well, so, may I?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the location where we're moving the bus stop for the bus rapid transit pilot and potentially long-term.
Okay.
So I think we could look at what you're suggesting in terms of, the future of the outdoor seating area and the location of that outdoor seating area. We actually did some things in order to accommodate Bistro Duet having that outdoor seating area, including, I think, paving over an area where there had been a tree that was taken down.
Okay.
And then in terms of thinking about a location of a bike rack, I'd be happy to work with this applicant on where that might go, but would want to work with the Department of Public Works and Town Manager's Office on the placement of any of these other items.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to get that discussion started.
Yeah.
Anything else, David?
No.
Gene?
I don't have anything.
All right, thank you. I'll open it up to public comment. If anyone wants to speak in favor of or regarding this special permit application, please raise your hand. I'll call on you, state your name and address for the record, and please make comments to the board and not to the applicant. Yes, sir.
Brad Adams, 27 Mott Street, Arlington. I moved here a couple years ago, and I've been kind of struggling for a good nightwear social life in the area. I find myself more often just getting off at Davis on the ride home. There's a lot of places there I tend to frequent. And going up to Arlington Center, while there's some nice spots, a lot of them tend to copy each other and just their content and what they offer. So not only is this really close to me, also thank you for the bike rack comment. One more to me and that would be a problem. There's like one sign. This being that close to me and just this being something outside of Davis, more in my hometown, it doesn't just offer the same food and drink that every other place does. It's got events that I'm going to want to go to. Already I hold a lot of the stuff at my house. It's not super convenient. To be able to do dinner, drinks, night out with my friends, something close to any kind of transit or bus line, that's going to be awesome for us.
All right, thank you. In the back.
Hi, my name is Sarah Singer. I'm an Arlington resident. I'm here with my husband, Eric. And we just wanted to say how much we support this idea, this concept in the town. This is actually our anniversary today, and at our wedding, we had board games on the table. So we're hoping that maybe for future anniversaries, we could go to establish something like this. It would really make our enjoyment of the town skyrocket. And already we love being here in Arlington, but having this kind of a feature would certainly make our day.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Daniel Williamson, 179 Franklin Street, and I just wanted to echo the other comments. I think board games are a great way to socialize without necessarily being tied to, it's a great way to like sit around a table and meet other people, and having a common venue where people can go and meet new people who also enjoy the same hobby, I think is a great idea. So I just wanted to support the idea.
All right. Yes, sir.
My name is Patel. I live on Henderson Street. Me and my friends get together very frequently to play board games and such, and dinner and getting drinks always is a concern. We like to include that in our games, but sometimes we can't do that. Having a venue there, and I live very close there too, so I'm definitely in support of this. To having a venue that would accommodate that sort of environment would be awesome for us, and we look forward to hopefully having this place around.
All right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I've actually been chasing these two around
Name and
for a
address,
while.
please. Sorry.
Steven, 38 Lake Hill Ave. Athena has run some other events through a production company that she works with that has always been just top-notch. Her level of detail that she puts into everything makes it more of an experience rather than just an event that you're attending. And Jason, I've stocked his food trucks or wherever he might be working just for his food. It's second to none. Like anywhere he's gone, I've just made the effort to follow him there just for his food. The two of them together is gonna be something absolutely wonderful, and also right down the street from me. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
All right. Good.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
Shannon. It's my husband Steven. We live at 38 Lake Hill Avenue. We just actually came from a pub where we're like, it's really too bad that there are so many sports pubs. Like, we wish that there were a place that we could go and really enjoy going out and enjoy the community that we have. And we're looking forward to a place where we can go in and also have activities that we like to do in the same spot. So,
Excellent. Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else? All right. I'm going to close public comment then and turn back to the board for a vote. I think what I would do is entertain a motion to approve the special permit with the conditions as listed in the EDR report, plus an additional requirement that you work with the department on installing a bike rack.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm sure Jenny and David will both be happy to give you recommendations outside of this meeting on what kind of bike rack specifically to use and placement thereof.
Okay, great.
So moved.
All in favor?
Second?
No, he moved. Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you have dinner but not play the board games?
I'm sorry?
Can you have dinner but not play?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
certainly, yeah.
Well, it's just because I'm really good at board games. I don't want to.
Right. You don't want to beat your family too much, and then nobody wants to play with you
Same,
anymore.
we'll save that for holiday.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Congratulations. Good luck. All right, so we have some additional business to discuss tonight. That was nice and easy. I'm knocking everything on the floor, which is fine. Don't worry about it. That's all yours. We're done with it. You win. Thank you.
Won that round.
All right, so moving on, and I'm going to turn it over to Jenny for Redevelopment Board Rules and Regulations as far as a potential amendment. Jenny.
Yes, so you recall, you recently adopted our board rules and regulations. However, since the adoption, Jean actually raised a potential way to expedite the signatures on decisions. And I've talked about this with town council, and we believe it is feasible. I'm gonna actually let Jean talk about that proposal, because it's really about an ease for the board.
This is really simple. It's so simple, I'm sorry I didn't think of it before we adopted the rules and regulations. Electronic signatures. So we would get sent a draft of whatever the permit is, and we could just send it back and say, use our electronic signature. And that would be it. We wouldn't have to come in.
Yeah.
And, it's an alternative to coming in or to delegating Jenny without having the permit. And so I mentioned it to Jenny, and I'm glad you talked to the town council. So I think it would be a simple amendment to the rules and regulations.
Yeah, I'd absolutely support that.
I like that a lot.
We will have to post it as a public hearing and still go through that same process of amending the rules and regulations, but, and I'll work with Doug Heim to craft the language as appropriate.
Great.
So just to make sure I understand, so are you talking about literally like having an image of our signature that could be used, or are we talking about an authenticated electronic signature
think
system,
we'll see
or
what
like
they-
signing
There's
and
different ways.
scanning?
I think
and-
we'll see what they come up with.
There are
Okay.
different ways to do it. It could be your signature and I have that, or it could be that you allow me to sign on your behalf after you send me some sort of signature by email.
Mhm.
So there's different mechanisms that we could do that, you know, and I'll give you those options and then you guys can decide.
The ones that I've seen, and the only one I ever used was actually a signature.
Yeah, like a VeriSign or something
Yeah,
like that.
VeriSign, exactly.
So we'll get back to you with exactly what would work and what would be allowed by law, obviously. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Good idea, Gene. Thank you.
Good idea 6 months early.
Whole point of this was to have it be a living document that we could edit
That's right.
on the
Poke it
fly.
every few
There you
minutes,
go.
right.
Sign bylaw amendment. Jenny.
So I provided to you the scope of work and I think the project timeline as well as access to the proposal from the one and only applicant for the proposed work to update Arlington's sign regulations. Basically, this is work that we talked about doing during recodification because it was very complicated and I would say pretty significant in terms of potential policy substantive type changes. We postponed the work. We're going to use the appropriation that we received from town meeting a couple of years ago in order to pay for this work so that we can basically have an updated sign bylaw. I don't know if it will live in the zoning bylaw versus the town bylaw. That's something that will come about during this process. But it will allow us to have an outside expert team review all of the sign regulations that exist in the town, both permanent and temporary sign regulations, and make recommendations about a better process for both review and then consistency across all of the regulations and all of the review processes. The timeline for the work, I think, is relatively straightforward. Basically, they have kicked off the work at this point in time. There's the zoning bylaw working group, which is the next iteration of the zoning recodification working group.
I have it. Do you want it?
They are the ones who are going to start meeting with this consultant. We will have a public workshop. There will be public hearings coming back to this board eventually. We think that will be in March, so that this will go to a spring town meeting. So it is a bit of a quick process, but at the same time, this group is doing exactly the same thing for Portland, Maine, and a couple of other places across the country. And we've seen their work. I have a copy of a presentation that they recently made in Portland, and I have a lot of confidence in their ability to put together a good product. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, there's only one company that answered this RFP.
Yeah. Just like there was only one company that answered the RFP for recodification. I think there's not that many companies that are engaged in this level of work with the new Supreme Court ruling and actually going through an entire soup to nuts rewrite of the sign bylaw. So, and there's a lot of work out there, so there's a lot of competition. Also, we do not have a very large budget to work with, in all fairness.
Okay, no, I'm
So,
just,
so we only had one bid, I think, as a result of that. We did reach out quite extensively, posted it pretty widely, and did our best to get as many consulting firms engaged, but this is what we received. That said, like I noted before, they're a very good firm, great expertise, and I have a lot of confidence in their ability to do the work. So do you have any questions about the process or the timeline?
This is more of an observation than a question. I mean, my observation is that we as the board don't get to see the product until the product's done, unless I missed something. And I was hoping there'd be a step or two along the way when they came and made presentations to us about where they are and where they're going, because I'd hate us to get to see the final product and say, oh, you know, so, and maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a check-in with the ARB
So David is serving on behalf of the board on the zoning bylaw working group. I think maybe there's a question for David on the table about coming back with updates or however we want to do that. We can talk about it also, but.
I expected that process to work similarly to how the recodification process, where we were regularly reporting at the board meetings on the progress, and we're presenting working documents as we had them.
I think that was good and that worked well because we saw the working documents. And maybe because I came in partway through, the opposite I thought was the residential study group, where I might have missed it, but what we saw was, this is our proposal. You know, and I know people here were working on it, but there was no vetting of drafts or ideas through the ARB. And if it turns out like the recodification, that would be fine. If it turns out like the other one, I think it's a problem.
Now you said that the timeline they have here of 2 months should be stretched out a little longer?
No, I just think there needs to be some place where we get to weigh in before they have a product that they're sort of shopping around. And maybe it's here, but I didn't see it.
Well, look here.
Well, I think if you look at their timeline on the last page, there's certainly room in there that we could put it on our agenda to discuss. And Jenny and David could bring a report from the zoning bylaw working group and whatever draft product is out there at that point for us to weigh in on.
Yeah, I think
that's
that, I mean, if we
appropriate.
could incorporate that in, I think that
Absolutely.
would
Yep.
meet my concern.
Yep, I think we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Are you talking, just to clarify, what, where would you want that to happen? Is that December timeline?
I think it's tough to nail down until we know when we'll have any sort of draft from them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think in late November, early December, we can get an update about where things are and then an idea of what future meeting we might see some sort of draft document to provide comments on.
So the timeline is that December and January, there's going to be drafting of the regulations. There is going to be a working group meeting with the zoning bylaw working group in December. If more of you would like to attend that meeting, that would be the time to actually meet with the consultant. The consultant won't be coming for an extra meeting that night necessarily, so that might be one way to do it.
Let's talk about a little earlier, Jay, on the test. On 1.4, the sign violation analysis and recommended report.
That's where I was looking at. That's
Oh,
why I
we
mentioned
can,
November,
we
December.
can share that with you. I mean, like an actual like drafting stage is gonna be happening in December and January though.
So I think if we had an item on the agenda at some point around 1.4, when that's in process,
Okay.
not to step on the other group's toes, but it comes back to us anyway, so I think if we can take a look at their recommendations and make suggestions, things we might like to see included or
Okay.
excluded, that's probably an appropriate time to look at that, and then David and Jenny can take that back to
And the
that
other,
group with our
I'm sorry.
direction.
The other place where I think would be helpful is between task 2.1 and task 2.2,
Mhm.
so that we have an opportunity to review the draft sign regulations before they put them out for public review.
I would say, I agree with that. I think as early as possible in 2.1, once that begins that administrative review so that we have time to see it, changes have time to be implemented, incorporated,
Before 2.2.
before it goes to, for formal public review.
I'll see what I can do
I know
in
some of
terms of
that
timing.
makes it public and
Yeah.
agreed at that point. but-
Yeah. The consultant is only coming here for a certain number of trips. Those are the circles that you see. So if you wanted to actually come to a meeting with the consultant there, that's what I'm offering also. Wouldn't be an ARB meeting. I'm happy to report to any ARB
Yeah.
meeting about anything, by the way.
Just-
But if you want to meet with the consultant,
So what, 3.1?
3.1 through 3.3 has a circle.
Any circle there, just let Jenny know so that if they're going to be
More
more than two, it can be posted as a public meeting.
Well, they're, the zoning bylaw working group is already.
It's already posted, but
But still, yeah.
Just to be
I think
safe.
we can still see paper copies of things that, you know, in the task 1.4 area and between the 2.1 and 2.2, even if they're not
Okay.
available, we can still read them and
Mhm.
comment on them, and somebody can get the comments back to them.
Yeah, and I don't think we as a full board need necessarily to have, in fact, I don't think we need to have an additional meeting with the consultant.
Right.
That's what that group is for.
If any members of the board have specific concerns regarding the sign bylaw, I would recommend working with Jenny to bring that to the consultant's attention at the very earliest stage of the process, before they've gone through their analysis, so that they can incorporate those issues into their analysis, rather than waiting until they've done their analysis and created the report and then raising your issues.
Have they identified stakeholders?
Yes,
And
so what
begun
I was
those interviews?
just about to say, to build off of David's point, is that we are actually conducting the stakeholder interviews. They are giving us like the script to use,
Mhm.
and then we're conducting the interviews. So if all of you want to be interviewed, I can do that at a future meeting, or I can do that one-on-one, or with a couple of you. I'm happy to do it with anybody who's interested in providing that kind of feedback.
Okay.
So I'll let you know when that will be
That's a good
happening.
idea.
And they're gonna be
Yeah.
looking at both the sign bylaws that are within the zoning bylaw and the ones that are in the general town bylaws.
Right, and the Historic District Commission sign guidelines.
Okay.
Good. All right.
Great, this
Thank
is
you,
good.
Jenny.
How do we get a hold of that example that you said you could show?
Oh, I brought it with me. I'll share it with you. It's just this. it's just a printed copy of the PowerPoint. But this is just the presentation, so it's not necessarily easy to look at. This one, I'm sorry. But
Is there a way you could
I can send
to
it to you. Yeah, to all of you.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome. And all of this is posted also on the zoning bylaw working group page.
Is there,
except
it would be
this.
good to see those, there's a copy of the report or the document from another project, so that we can get an idea of what the scope of the document that we could.
Mm.
You mean from another client?
Yeah, because ours isn't ready yet, obviously, so is there, I'm just trying to find the actual first product that they have. Is it task 1.4, sign regulations, analysis and recommendations report?
That will be something,
Or-
and I'll bring that to the ARB for review.
Or draft, but I'm just wondering if you, just so we can get an idea of what we're gonna be seeing, what is a analysis report, or maybe it's 2.1, for another city?
I will
Then we
look
get
at the
into it, so
materials we have
we know
available.
what questions we may want
Mhm.
preparing.
Mm.
Okay.
Good. All right. Anything else on that agenda item? All right, moving on to special town meeting and recreational adult use marijuana bylaw timeline. Exciting discussion of marijuana. Legal.
All right, so with this one, the select board voted to have special town meeting on December 5th. So that is the official date. And with that end, they're in the process of still forming the group that is gonna be helping staff, basically at this point, review the zoning amendments that we are preparing. The warrant is going to open, I believe, on October 4th for about a day. So at our next meeting, we will need to take a vote to put this on the warrant. So obviously you'll see that for the next meeting. The legal ad is due on October 12th. I am anticipating that the first hearing will take place on November 5th and would probably continue, could potentially continue similar to what we did with recodification, where you met on a Monday, Wednesday, and we kind of kept the momentum going. Alternatively, you'd have to meet on the 19th, have a hearing, like continue the hearing to the 19th, and also vote on your report to town meeting. That would be complicated, I think. So I would recommend adding a meeting in November.
So could we do an 11-5, 11-7, or even an 11-5, 11-12?
Either one of those. Well, I think 11/12 might be a holiday. But,
Wednesday.
Yeah, but
Right.
but possibly the following Wednesday as well.
When is the moratorium?
The moratorium ends December 31st, so we need to have zoning adopted ideally before then. I don't think we're in any danger if it lapses, but the goal has always been to adopt the zoning before the moratorium ends.
Okay.
So
What's the implication if the moratorium expires and we don't have specific zoning in place?
means that we don't have any, means that something could move forward, an applicant could come forward with this, but there's technically no ability to do anything with an application because it's not technically an allowable use, nor is it classified anywhere in the bylaw with definitions or all the other regulatory framework that other uses have. So it would be somewhat vulnerable without any zoning in place.
We're not the only town in this situation, right?
We're not the only town in this situation. No, and a lot of special town meetings are going to happen at the same time. So I'm just giving you the update in terms of the timeline, but and also to just make it clear that probably you're going to need to figure out another hearing, like to continue that hearing date from November 5th. So maybe you want to think about doing that tonight, to think about that other date, just so that I can have it in the schedule.
I think 11-7 makes sense. Let's do it on Monday, Wednesday. Keep the momentum going. Everyone else is going to hold up.
Yeah, and not have it be the same night as the report.
Same as the reports today.
November 5th, we
Gives
can
me
meet
time to do the
Monday.
report.
Yes.
We have a meeting the 5th and the 19th right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying the 7th or the following Wednesday?
It would either be the 7th or,
The 14th?
yeah.
Mhm. The 7th is okay?
7th is okay, I have jury duty that day, but I can't imagine I'll still be in the courthouse at 7:30.
I would hope not.
I thought they don't like lawyers as jurors.
The last time I was
It depends.
called, I was on a 3-day jury trial. I
Wow.
was one of the jurors, so incorrect.
Okay.
There I was, nobody bumped me.
So the 7th, we'll add that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have time to change
And then
that.
I guess further is you're adding December 5th as well, because I need folks to attend special town meeting.
Right.
When would we have materials prior to November 5th?
So the legal notice is due on October 12th, so very soon after that date.
Okay. Because I'm going to be out of town for the entire, for 10 days until right before that.
From when to when?
Like the October 28th to November 4th.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have them before then,
you'll-
because they'll have to be
they'll
ready
be
for the
there.
legal notice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be ready to go.
Good.
So, and if you can correspond by email, we can, if you have a question, we can talk about that.
Okay.
All right, thank
that-
you, Jenny. Any other questions on that, comments? Anything else to be discussed?
No minutes?
No minutes, no. We've got one meeting off.
Can I move to adjourn?
You may. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good job.